They say performance has an expiration date, but what if they're wrong? No matter where you start, the goal's the same: to be better, stronger, wiser, bolder. We're here for the relentless, those that don't back down, don't compromise, and don't quit. This is training for Masters athletes by Masters athletes, with a community that holds you steady. So say goodbye to random workouts, because whether you're stepping into following a program for the first time or stepping onto the podium, your journey starts here.
All right, team, welcome to the Boulder Athlete Podcast. I'm Josh. I'm here with Paul Delanoy. And Paul, you are a NYPD, or you're with the NYPD. You're a two-time game athlete. You're a new Boulder athlete. I want to get into all those things. But thanks for making time to hang out and catch up, man.
Thanks, buddy. Good seeing you, man. Haven't seen you in a month or so
I
since
know.
the games.
I know. Been a little while.
Well done, by the way.
Thanks, dude.
Well done, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Man, it's been, well, I've talked about my experience before, like going to 2024. I didn't know anybody, but going back, like you were one of the people that I actually hung out with and connected with in 2024, which
Yeah.
totally appreciated. You and Brett, we caught up, got a beer after the games, and
Post games beer, you need to do it. Yeah,
that was
sure.
I valued that more than just getting to connect with you because I didn't know anybody there, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And your level of going from 24 to 25 is amazing. Like how you did from like going from making it and then making it again and then just like crushing it this past year.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that a lot. I mean, you know what it takes. There's a lot of hard work that goes in. So I'm glad it was a good proof point because it certainly felt like I was making progress. But you kind of need that. You need that stage to understand where do you really stand.
Yeah, and I think we're always looking for that assurance of like, am I good enough to hang with these guys? And everyone's getting so much better every year. Every year, everyone's just elevating their game, and it's like, do I belong here? Right? Is like the question you always ask yourself, and then you go through the first couple workouts, you're like, okay, I belong here. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's so spot on. Yeah, let's reserve that conversation because that's an obvious one to get into, and I'm actually itching to do it. But
yeah.
Like, I want to start with a little bit of your background. Like in the NYPD, this is a super unique role that you have, and I want to just know more about it. You and I have never really got into it. And so I'd love to just talk about one, how did you get into it? How long have you been with the NYPD? Like, what is and I think you have kind of a unique role. I don't know if you're just like a on the street police officer. Like, tell me more about what it's like.
So, well, I'm almost 22 years in the NYPD. So came out of
When you were like
college.
10, because what are you?
No, I was 21. I was turning 21 when I came in.
Mm.
So I just finished up college in May, moved back to New York, and went right into the police academy. Kind of, young guy, didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, okay, yeah, they offered me the job. I took the tests and like I took all the tests during college, all the police tests, and I took that one. They called me and I said, okay, yeah, we'll try it. Right now, I sit here 22 years later and here I am.
Mm-hmm.
So you start out, you don't really know what you're doing. You training and all that stuff. And then I became a, street police officer. Like you said, like it was like very, you're learning on the go. You're on the streets. I was in the upper Manhattan. Then I got into a plainclothes unit after like a few years and started doing that a little bit. And then I decided to put a suit on and start working that like as a detective role to get promoted to detective. That happened, got promoted. And then in 2014, at the end of 2014, I joined Counterterrorism in Manhattan. So that comes with the training and all that stuff. So, and I've been there ever since. So now clip to today, 12 years later, and that's where I am still.
Man, okay. Like, I don't even know what questions to ask, but I want to know more about detective and counterterrorism. Like,
so
walk me through a day to day.
For counterterrorism, like let's say even today, like September, a few days ago, the president came in, right? So the president came in. We had a long day. He was flying in and attending the Yankee game, right? So we go to the Yankee game. We have to make sure all security measures are, all the route from when he touches down in New York and goes wherever he needs to go and all that. So like, yeah, we have to cover all the security measures with like his teams and his security details and all that stuff. And and then so And that's a day to day. If something like that happens, same thing with the UN General Assembly is coming into New York this month, right? So that's a hectic time. It's a lot of like world leaders come to New York for meetings, so we have to be out there for security. They have their own security teams, but we have to work with them in
Mhm.
conjunction with being in New York, like what they can't do, where they're staying. We have to have lockdown security, just because that's the world we live in right now.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, any function that goes on in New York, like any parade or any like Fifth Avenue, you got or the Macy's Day Parade for Thanksgiving or anything like that. We have to. That's all us, where we have to have all the security measures in place,
Mm.
all the access points, all the shut down everything. Have the canine sweeps and the bomb squad sweeps and all that stuff. So yeah,
How,
it's
like,
definitely stressful.
you, no doubt, man. That's a stressful gig. You don't want to not be on your game going through those
Right.
preparations and miss some critical detail for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Like how far in advance does that start? And by the way, don't let me pressure you into saying something you shouldn't say. But like
No, no, no. That's all right. No.
how far in advance does that start? Like is it days? Is it weeks? Like when does that process begin?
Sometimes months. Like we had in 2015, we had the Pope come visit Central Park, right? He stayed right off Central Park. And yeah, that takes months of preparation because he's the Pope, right? So yeah, that's a big deal. Like that takes a lot of preparedness to for everything, from situations that could arise or situations that we might not be able to handle. So we'll have different agencies help us, and we work in conjunction with them. So yeah. It's been a long journey. 22 years.
Yeah, you've seen some things, no doubt. Yeah, man, it's hard for me, and I'm thinking about like folks that be watching this, or to put yourself in your shoes. Like the kind of work that you do, the things that you would see, the kind of circumstances that you've lived and have to prepare for, thinking what could be. Again, that's a different level of stress.
Yeah, I
That's a different
think
level of stress.
having like going through it year after year or month after month, I think we've like police officers, a lot of police officers become they kind of have that tunnel vision. They're a little desensitized to like, the daily workings of regular life, civilian life or whatever. And like that's my wife tells me when I leave the NYPD, like I'm gonna have to become a real person again. Like I'm gonna have to become like a real person in
Yeah.
society. And yeah, so which I laugh about it, but like in a way, she's almost right. It's definitely a harder job than most people walking around have to deal with. But
Yeah.
I come from my family was all civil service. My grandfather was a firefighter. My father was a firefighter. My brother, so I was kind of the black sheep of the family. Like, yeah, still civil service, but police wasn't in it.
I had a similar conversation with Greg, who was in the Secret Service, and he had a similar background and set of experiences where it's not your typical. And we had this conversation around like the kind of perspective that gives you, the kind of worldview that provides. And similar to what you just said, like, man, you got to you do your job, and then you got to
Mhm.
go home. And sometimes you can draw a clear line between those two and live these kind of different lifestyles. And sometimes you carry that with you and it's difficult. What I'm assuming is the people that are doing that and keeping their sanity can compartmentalize, to your point, really well and say, hey, these are the
Yeah,
things I deal with at work. And then, I close the office door, so to speak, and I go home and
yeah.
I'm able to get back into a traditional lifestyle. How do you navigate that?
So that's entirely true. You need to separate the two. You can't bring your work life back home with you. If you see stuff or your daily earnings, long days, stressful hours, stuff like that, you can't bring it home to your wife and kids. And any way you need to decompress in a good way, instead of going out to the bar or something like that, like is a good thing, which ties into like this is my garage, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm
So it's
thinking.
like if I come home and I had a rough, whatever, it's like, yeah, and I need 30 minutes to work out or 40 minutes to work out or whatever, just to and it brings me right back down. Brings me right back down to like, okay, everything's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly a healthy way to approach it. I'm glad that you apply that stress relief in the ways that you do, because it's led you to be pretty dang fit. And, it's ultimately how we met each other, which I'm grateful for. Can you give us a quick sneak peek of this home gym you've got there? You got a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool
yeah.
setup.
So we got I set it up right after COVID. I set it up and because it was that time where we couldn't like you couldn't do anything, and I was in this cold garage holding a barbell that was freezing, and I was like, and at the same time we had just had another baby. We had our second child, and
Right on.
My wife was, you can't go to the gym for 3 hours on
Oh,
top of your work
yeah.
schedule. So it was like, okay, well, guess what? The gym's
You
coming
said
right
you were
here.
gonna be home at this time. You were 2 minutes late.
Oh yeah.
What?
2 minutes. Yeah, no, an hour and a half late. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, there's a cool down session, you didn't know about that. The
Oh,
cool down session,
did
right?
I fail to mention that, hon? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was, I said, you know what, I'm just going to build it right. And now it's great because then also as my kids get older, they see what I do. They see what I'm doing. My son wants to emulate it. All his friends, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, this is great. This is great.
How old are your
So
kids?
it's 10 and 6.
Oh, right.
I have a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl.
That's awesome. I've got a 13-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son, and my daughter actually just took her first teen CrossFit class at the local box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna say we forced her into it, but we heavily encouraged and influenced. I think she kinda dug it because she's pretty fit. She plays soccer and
But she sees her dad.
yeah, well,
Look
yeah,
at you. You know what I mean? Like, look at you. So, like,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, when you walk around and see the other dads on the fields or whatever, you look around and they're like, who's that guy? Right?
yeah.
Right? So,
And I think, I mean, she and I talk about it very little, so I don't know, quite what her perspective is. But my son is very in tune with that. I coach his football team. I'm his head coach, and we spend a lot more time together. My wife is always chauffeuring my daughter to soccer, so they spend a ton of one-on-one time together,
mhm,
and we love that one-on-one time. But yeah, my son does get to see like how other people respond to me, and they
right.
make comments about my fitness and all the things, and
Oh, your
well,
dad's jacked. Yeah. They
yeah,
say that, like
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
while there's, some are subtle and some are far less subtle, he
Yeah.
sees that and it does influence him. And I know how it would have influenced me as a young boy who is very athletic and wants to, become like his dad one day.
Right.
He comes out in the garage and he does like, hey, dad, draw me up a workout, and I want to do a little circuit. And oh,
Yeah.
just love it. It's just awesome,
It's great. So you're in the middle of the season now, right?
Oh, yeah. We just got our bus
Or
hit
the beginning.
last night.
Really?
Brutal. Tough game. Real tough game.
Yeah. It's good. It was a long debrief, I'm sure, from the coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt, had to come out, couldn't go back in. That was gut wrenching because he's our
Yeah.
quarterback and our leader, and he's a tough kid and he's a stud on the field. And so there went our offense, and that was tough pill to swallow for him because he was gutted on the sideline, and yeah, it changed the whole trajectory.
Anything serious or no?
No,
Anything?
he just, I mean, this team was very physical. He got smashed in his elbow and it swelled up pretty good, and he was losing
Yeah.
feeling in his hand, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Look, I'm not gonna force you back into this game. It's your decision."
No, 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 no. Yeah. No, my 10-year-old was saying, he plays lacrosse for 3 different teams and it's always, it's more stressful watching, right? Like it's more stressful watching. Like you'd rather get out there and like play it. Like it's stressful watching, especially when it's your kid, right? Yeah.
No, I nearly asked the ref at one, but can I just take the snaps? Can I just hand it off? We're down to like our third quarterback at this point. Yeah, it was a tough game, but yeah, I love it. It's pretty awesome. So, hey, let's shift gears now. Let's get into the games. Like your experience in 2024. That's where we connected. You and I at that point were like, we didn't know each other, but we were kind of right next to each other on the leaderboard and just going back and forth and swapping points. And that drew my attention to you. Like, well, who's this Paul guy? He's obviously super fit, and I need, I'm now competing with you, and so that was a cool experience. And then this year we're in a similar situation. Talk me through your experience, maybe a touch of last year, but primarily like how that went.
This year, this year was it was weird because I had a few injuries going in, which we all do. Listen, it's the nature of the game, right? Everyone's a little bit beat up. We're training a lot and everything. It's just I'm used to it. I've been doing this a long time. So this year I came in, I saw the programming is what it is. It was good, and I just was like, okay, always coming in and kind of knowing that I would like a 7K run was the first thing, right? And it was like, well, I'm gonna take a hit on that, even though even though I did it and I told you right when I came off, I said, I did good for myself. Like, forget about the competition, but like maybe I just got really slow. Like, I don't know. Like I did good, but I PR'd it myself. But I was like, everyone's just so fast. And so I dug myself a hole there. And then I came back that night and I hit a 325 clean and jerk. So I was like, I'm happy. I know you were right behind me and you hit maybe what'd you hit?
I hit 330.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
yours
couldn't even
was
give me those points.
like that's huge. 325 is major, man. That was a
So I knew
big
I'd kind of counter it out there, and then the whole weekend was it was a little frustrating for me, just because we're so competitive, and you lose sight of the fact that you are with the best of the 0.001 of this sport
hmm
for our age group, and you lose sight of that. We all lose sight of that, where you give it your all in a workout, and you're like, it's just, and you look at it, and you're like, wow, I took a 12th or a 13th, and you're like, you're frustrated and you're losing sight that, like, listen, these guys are the best of the best, right? You just need to come out and run your race.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I was always kind of behind, like where I was 10 seconds short or 4 reps short, or, like, and it was right there for the team, but you didn't execute the way you wanted to, maybe.
Yeah.
So I was a little frustrated this year, but just in myself, not nobody else, nothing else,
Yeah.
like I would never say like, oh, the judges or the programming or anything. It's all on you. It's all on me, like, and I was excited that I was even there. And I had to remember that too. I had to remind myself I was excited to be even there because I had some issues going in, some injury stuff where I didn't train maybe as much as I used to as years past.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really healthy perspective. And I can totally relate. I mean, that's one of the key takeaways for me is like the difference between where you finish and where you want to finish. Like that line is razor thin.
Yeah.
Like the difference, honestly, between you and I and the who takes first on the leaderboard and who takes last, everybody is so capable. And it
Oh
really comes
yeah.
down to like just a couple hiccups here and there, a couple events that, maybe are programmed slightly in your favor, a couple seconds, finishing time between this spot and that spot. Like it literally is razor thin because it's amazing. While you look at the leaderboard and you're like, oh, 20 spots separate this person from that person. The truth is, when you break it down, it was like a spot here and there. It was
Yeah.
5 pounds on this versus that, and then a bunch of tiebreakers. It was 10 seconds in this workout. The line is really, really thin. We are talking about, as you said, some very fit and very capable folks that are at the top of the game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then you make it, you go through it and you say, okay, and you kind of do a debrief and you're like, okay, well, let's see. So you climb the mountain, you got up the mountain. You're like, okay, I made it. And now where we are now, it's like, well, back to square one, right?
Yeah. Now what?
Back to square one. So now what are you going to do? So, okay, if you didn't like the way you finished, what are you going to do now? What are you going to change? Let's identify weaknesses. Let's do what you need to do to get back to where you were. And yeah, that's kind of like where you are now. But right now I'm in the funk of like, well, not funk, but I'm in that I'm not resting. I'm dipping my toe into programming a little bit.
Yeah.
Hit a workout here, maybe cherry pick a workout here and there and say, okay, let me get moving. Got to move every day, but let's keep it to a minimum. And, because it's kind of the off season, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm exactly in that spot as well where, the body's not fully recovered yet. There's still a couple kinks, hidden somewhere that you find. And you're also like in that season of preparing for the games, it is a bit of a grind. You're like, you got to find it every day to go and push at these really high intensities and sustain this kind of a volume. And then you go through the games and that's, pretty intense and challenging on the body. And so right after that, what I find is like, I need to find the fun again. I need to make it enjoyable. I need to get back to that at the core of it and then kind of rediscover, all right, why do I do this? And yes, I love this. This is a big part of my life. What are my aspirations? Okay, what are the things that now I need to work on? And there's this like phase, a set of phases that I have to go through to get myself back into that focused off-season training, leading me back to where I want to get and ultimately making some progress. So I'm in that stage as well where I'm like, okay, I need to move. I need to find some fun. I need to get my mojo going again.
Because you just went from 1,000 miles an hour to not stopping, but kind of like, okay, you're supposed to be resting or supposed to be resting, but you're like, okay, so where am I at now? What am I going to do? And then you're like, oh, am I losing strength? Am I losing speed, stamina? Am I losing all that stuff? It's like, well, no, you're still really, really fit. It's just like, you just need to take a pause,
Yeah.
especially as masters athletes. I mean, we're not on the individual level. We're not in your face. We're not, I'm not going to say no one cares about the masters, but like the thing is that we do this for ourselves, right?
That's right.
Like this is therapeutic to us. Like this is what we do. This is an awesome hobby, right?
Yeah. It's not going to
Like
pay the bills.
It's not going to pay the bills. We need a day job, right?
That's right.
But that's what I love about Masters, because all you guys, we're all in the same kind of boat. We have kids, jobs, like outside stressors of our lives that are super important. And in the grand scheme of things, exercising fast is not
The priority.
right. That's not the priority.
That's right.
But we make it our priority because it helps us around with everything else, right? It helps us with our family, it helps us with our work, our nutrition, everything. It rounds everything out, right? And it's
Okay.
just, it definitely does it for me. I need it, and I don't care if I'm doing CrossFit or I'm doing, chest day on Monday. I need to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It helps me in every aspect.
So how do you navigate it? Like, I'm curious, your kind of system. Everybody has a system. Some are more flexible than others, but like, you have kids, you got a stressful job, you got a family, you've got personal hobbies outside of the gym. What are some of the things that you put in place to like build your system and routine that allow you to keep it sustainable? Because naturally, if you're going to the games multiple times in a row, this was not like a one-off. This wasn't
Yeah.
like hey, I trained really hard for a period of time and that's it. Like, no, you have got a life system in place that allows you to do this with such consistency that
Yeah.
you can manage all of these things. What's that look
and
like for you?
and doing well, building this number one was
Yeah.
kind of key, because you have to always have to have it at kind of your disposal, like where it's like at certain hours of the day, it's like sometimes you have work, you have kids, you're coaching your son, you got to get it in, right?
Mhm.
You got to get it in, and then you have this window, right? So let's say you have a super stressful work day, or a meeting at night, or whatever you're doing, and you have from 5 to 7 in the morning to get it done. You're going to get it done, right?
That's right.
So it's really, I mean, everybody says it. It's consistency, right? Consistent work equals success, right? If you are consistent, and some days you have it and some days you don't. And that's the hardest part I've learned as a master. Some days you warm up and you're like, ooh, not feeling it, not feeling it.
Hmm.
And then maybe you back off, but your ego says, wait a minute, I can hit that every day of the week. But maybe today you shouldn't because you slept 4 hours last night, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should just pull back. That's what I've been learning in the last few years, where it's okay to scale, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's okay. There's a scaled thing on Boulder that says, hey, or minimal or whatever. And you look at the tracks and you say, you know what? I'm just gonna do that today. And I started dipping my toe in with the whole Boulder thing, looking at it. And Adam was showing me at the games about how, all the tracks and everything. And
Yeah.
I was very like, oh, that's interesting, because like that's kind of what I need right now, where it was, I was like, yeah, like my ego gets involved where I'm like, oh no, I can do that unbroken, or I can I could throw 10 more on there. It's like, I know I can hit it, but it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. That's so right.
Right. Like when you're, my knee's a little junky today, or my shoulder's a little off, but it's like, yeah, but I hit that all the time. But right. But maybe it's not the best idea today.
Man, that's absolutely right. Yeah, my ego is a factor day to day that I have to navigate. And I wish I could say, in fact, this has been a huge part of my progress over the last year, is being far less focused on the leaderboard and far more focused on myself and trusting my own fitness. This has been like a mantra of mine, trust your fitness,
Yeah.
because I didn't before. And I looked at the leaderboard to validate my fitness.
100.
Where am I? Oh, well, now I'm stressing because I'm like, you can't find me on the leaderboard. I'm 2 swipes down or whatever, like,
Yep.
and so then I'm like analyzing that. Gosh, is it just a bad day? Am I losing it? You can get into a bit of a trap there, where this year it's been like, look, I'm actually going to not look at the leaderboard. I'm going to just do this workout. I don't need to see who's on top, what the time is, and game it. Well, I might still do that.
You still look. No, you still look.
Yeah, sometimes
You
I
have
do.
to.
But the question is, do I look after or do I look before? And I used to always look before. And I would say,
I do both sometimes. I do
okay,
both sometimes. Yeah.
10 minutes and 45 seconds. That's the time. So now I'm like, I need to stay on this pace per round. And now I'm smashing. And sometimes I come out on top. I'm like, hey, great. I gamed it. It worked awesome. And I needed that game to draw the intensity out of me. What I need to be better at, this is my own self-evaluation. If I want to accomplish what I want to accomplish, I need to be able to find that without the external motivator that is the leaderboard. Because when I'm in a games competition situation, I'm not going to have that. I need to be able to know
Yeah.
my own capacity and say, can I go faster? Do I need to regulate? And I need to be able to do that in real time, really successfully, and not be like, go fast enough to win, No, I need to go as fast as I'm capable. And then whatever happens, happens. Knowing that at the games, there's multiple heats. You don't know what times people put up. You just need to do your very best. And so that is the conditioning process that I'm working through right now. I don't have it mastered, but I'm finding that to be a good tool for me where I don't look at the leaderboard in advance. I just do the workout to the best of my ability. And then at the end, look and be like, where did that and go? Okay, that worked. Or gosh, that was a colossal failure. That it's
Yeah.
good learnings for me.
No, I've since starting with you guys over at Boulder, I do the same thing where I look after and I'm like, man, I got to get better. Or sometimes I'm like, wow, that worked out great. Maybe I felt great today, right?
Yeah.
Like, but and I usually look for you, I look for Aaron, I look for
Yeah, guys,
which is funny. Yeah, guys, there's guys from MFC that I compete against that I see on there, familiar names from Legends and Wadapalooza and stuff like that, which I really like, and I've been missing for a few years. Like the community aspect of it. Like, did you do CompTrain
Yeah, I
Masters
did
or any
that's been several years ago.
2017 or
It
whatever
wasn't
it was?
masters. It was just straight up comp train. It was free. Just
Oh yeah,
all the
so even
people.
further back.
Yeah.
So I did CompTrain Masters with a bunch of guys, and it was great because it was we all talked to each other the whole time. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
how did he do this? How did he do that? And like so it has that feel for it. Like I've done throughout the years. It's been I've Invictus, Brute, CompTrain, Outlaw, like all these different programs that
Yeah.
we've gone through, but there's never been anything real specific to Masters the way you guys are doing it, where you got your warm-ups, you got your different tracks, right? You got if you're not just because you're not on the compete track or you're not on the elite track or whatever, and like it's okay, but you're still going to get work done today. And
Yeah.
you might be doing the same workout as he's doing, and then you got to scale back a little bit, but it's hard as a competitor also, that if I'm following the compete track and you're doing the elite workout, well, I'm like, well, I should be doing the elite workout,
Yeah.
right? It's
Right.
just, but that's the nature of the beast. It's like, that's what as competitors, that's what we do.
Yeah. So gosh, man, I want to go so many directions with this. Let's go to your decision to follow Boulder. Like this is recent. You're new
Yeah.
to Boulder.
This is a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk me through just kind of how that played out. And
I bounce. Well, first of all, we're on a group chat on our phone with a few guys, and
yeah.
I always get the FOMO when you guys are talking about, oh, did you do this workout? Did you do this workout? And I'm like, oh, I wonder what that was. And I'm like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
putting that aside, I walked in and I see how it's grown in the last year. Really, it's only been what, a year? Not even?
Well, a little over 2 years in total, but this past year has been one of significant growth.
Right. And you saw it at the games, and I think they're sponsoring Legends, right?
Yep.
Or they're doing the programming for Legends this year.
Jason's going to be participating in the program. We're the title sponsor of Legends, which is awesome. And
Are you competing?
I'm competing. Yeah, I'm stoked. I don't
Oh,
do
you are.
programming, obviously, but this will be
Oh,
my
right, right.
first year doing Legends, so I'm really excited.
No, it's a lot of fun. I did it in 24, and it was a lot of fun. And the campus is really nice. It's at Arizona State, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's nice. They do a good job with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a lot of
excited.
fun. So no, I was speaking to like yourself and Aaron and Adam and all those guys and David and and I didn't know how many people were involved with Boulder, and it was just nice to see, like they said how much, like they talked so great about it, how it's brought them like so much like gains and opportunity and community, and I was like, oh man, and it was intriguing. So I started talking to Adam after one of the days at the games, and he was explaining it to me, and I was speaking to Jason about it a little bit. And yeah, I was like, you know what? And just having that system around where, like, yeah, I can bounce ideas off you, train, look how you did in this workout, look how, and then it's a good community, and it's well thought out. Like you come in, you got your daily warm up, you got your pre-workout or whatever it is, and which is really like a workout,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes like you're like, wow, that was really hard. Like the other
That's
day
really done.
I did 50, I think I did 55 pull-ups and 2,000 meters on the bike the other day. and that was like the start of everything. Right?
Yeah.
But I also see how it's broken down into like a linear progression, like a cycle that you guys call it. So what is it? 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
it's well thought out and it's smart. So yeah, I'm just dipping my toe in now, where I'm like, I'm looking at looking at it each day, seeing what, you know, what track to follow, kind of, just because it's September, and I don't know where exactly it's going to go yet. As it gets closer to the open and everything, I'll keep, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the tracks, that's always been a kind of a popular conversation amongst, like, we've got our various group texts and, even between Jason and I, and there's no wrong way to approach it. It really, like, this is my perspective, is like, you got to do what you know is best for you. Like, that seems to always be true. And
Right.
so if you're like, hey, I need the highest intensity at all times, well, great. The elite track is high intensity, it is high volume, and it's challenging work. And to get all that done in a 90-minute to 2-hour session, like, you got to be moving with some real purpose. And then you
Yeah.
got to be able to sustain all that volume. Now, it's an incredible track, and I find that it prepares me so well for the games and these big competitions, where I know that if I can do the elite track day in, day out, boy, I'm going to be ready, because I don't know who else is doing the kind of work that I'm doing. And I feel just so confident going in. And then physically, it is proven when I step on the competition floor, I'm like, yeah, I've put in the work and it shows. And then the
Yeah.
compete track is just like a degree different, where it's still really competitive. It's a little bit less volume, but I'm doing mostly compete track right now. And I'll probably continue to do that for, I don't know, a little while longer before I
Yeah.
feel like, okay, now I'm ready to kind of graduate myself again back into a more intense off season. And then I'll get into that elite track. But the
That's
compete,
kind of where I go. Compete. Track is pretty much where I go
yeah,
now.
and it's great.
And even some days, if I'm like, you know what, well, right now, I'm like, you know what, I'll leave like one of the pieces out, even, just because right now, like, or when I got right back from the games, I was like,
Yeah.
let me just take some time. I'll leave one piece out. So, but then I'll just get more, rounded out or whatever. But it's good that, like, I can speak to all the people that are doing it, and I see who's doing what and everything on a leaderboard and on a chat. They have the Circle app and everything, which is great. And it's just a good bunch of humans, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
just,
it really
we're
is.
just a bunch of good humans. Just,
That's so right. And, like, look, you're going to find good people in any program, right? There's
right,
lots of good
right,
people out there. And of course, I disclaim this with my own biases. Like, yeah, I'm with Boulder, and naturally, I think this is the best, best of the best. But
right,
there is a difference that's objective and noticeable in the way that we create community, the way that community feels and supports each other. And we've got this Circle app that's dedicated to, just like, there's no leaderboard in there. It is just about community and caring and supporting people.
right,
It's not based on performance, it's based on people. And then you've got the various tracks, and the leaderboards are there, and you get a chance to fist bump and acknowledge and do the things that, as competitors, we love to do. And so I kind of, at first when I transitioned, I was like, why are these two things separated? This is weird. I'm not used to that. I'm used to
right.
making the comments, on the leaderboard and doing all of our chit chat on the leaderboard. What I didn't realize at the time was it was that behavior that was conditioning me to pay so much attention to the leaderboard and,
Oh yeah,
like, seek so much validation there. And while that's fine, it wasn't helping me personally a ton. And I know guys, awesome humans and very capable athletes, the leaderboard kind of messes them up, like,
oh yeah, for
it's
sure.
kind of a mental, what, if you get too hyper focused there. And so actually separating those two, I think, is brilliant, and it relieves some mental stress, I think, for those that get a little,
And if you have questions on the day, right? If you have questions on the day, if you're just like, I don't know how to do this, like, is it like this or is it like that? And, like, you can just ask, and someone's going to help you out,
yeah,
right?
very responsive community.
What were you doing before
I was in
going to
Mayhem
Boulder?
before Boulder.
Oh, okay. I had never done Mayhem. I had a private coach for
Mm.
the last couple of years, which was great. But I think I just needed to get back to that, like, how I was on Comtrain Masters, and, like, but you're right. Like, I was seeking validation on the leaderboard at Comtrain Masters. I was every day was like, oh, how did that guy do that? Or he's lying, or, like,
Right.
oh, that guy's full of what? Yeah, forget it. Like, that guy didn't do that, whatever. And, like, at the end of the day, like, guys, what are we doing? We're just like, what are we doing? If this is just for your own ego, right? So, like, the other day, we had an echo bike workout where Aaron, who unfortunately got injured at the games, he beat me in an echo bike workout, and he's injured. I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, and I just started laughing to myself. But I was like, I know I need to work on that stuff. But it's like, that doesn't bother me with it. Like, you gotta, it's just a leaderboard. It's all right. It's a Tuesday in September. It's all good, right?
Right. That's exactly right. Well, I'm glad to hear that I'm super excited that you're with Boulder, man. Like it's going to be a cool off season to get to support each other, check in on each other. And like, I just love having good guys and ladies in this community that like, it's more than just competition. Competition is definitely a healthy slice of this thing. Let's be real.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the chance to connect and like, I don't know, I just love the human element of the community. And yeah, Boulder's got a lot of that. And I think you're going to bring just an awesome energy to it. So I'm really excited about it, man.
That's what I liked. I was thinking about it before going to the games, but then it kind of solidified it when I was there because it was just such like a good atmosphere of guys that were, like minded, and it's not all about the leaderboard. Yes, you're going to get fitter, you're going to get better for sure following the program, but at the end of the day, it's like you got a support team with you,
Yeah.
and some of them you don't even know, and they'll just still chat with you, whatever you need, whatever. It's all good. So I definitely am excited to jump into it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm excited to have you, man. So like, I mean, I guess we've kind of touched on this, but it sounds like your aspiration is to go back to the games.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, after the games, you always hit that kind of lull and you got to reset. Like I said, like climb the mountain and you're like back to square one. And you're like, well, who knows if I'm good enough this year because everyone's aging up and everyone's getting better. And, I don't know if I still have it and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's always the goal. Once you've made it there a few times, it's like, that's the goal, right? Like we're competitors. So, and I grew up competing since I'm a little kid. So it's like once you don't just jump in halfway, you're like, no, we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to go for it. Right.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is going to be like, because now I have a comparative experience of, competing at the highest level without Boulder, competing at the highest level with Boulder, like light bulb. Okay, that's different. And
Yeah.
I can now say, yeah, this prepared me so much more. Now you're going to go through that yourself. And so I'm super
I know.
interested. I want to stay connected with you on like how you're feeling that progress. Will you do any competitions leading up, like a Legends, like a Fittest of the Coast, like any of these big ones?
I'm not going to go to Legends this year. But they moved Wadapalooza, I believe. Usually I'm at Wadapalooza every year, or I try to be every year. But I don't think I'm going to do anything until the Open. I don't think I'm going to do, because every year I've done Masters Fitness, Legends, Wadapalooza, and I'll go to all of them, and it kind of generates a little bit of burnout in me. I'm noticing after year, and I want to kind of just like train and feel good and feel healthy and then go into the Open, because I had never done in the last 5 years. I don't think I've ever done that. I think I've gone from competition to, well, the Open starts in 3 weeks, and like, so I'm just adding these stressors onto me, whereas like this year I think I'm just going to kind of focus on getting used to a new program, getting like super healthy, because we always have some little tweaks, right? We have your whatever injuries you're battling or whatever, and go right into the Open and then just see what's what, and then it's time to prove yourself again, right? Then you're like, right, it's like, okay, I'm going to go into semifinals. Well, I hate that workout. I love that workout, and then it's like, well, let's see what lead. Then you're refreshing the leaderboard 1,000 times, right? Yeah, and you're like, oh, man, I don't know. I may have to redo. I may have to not. It's
Yep. Well, that's okay. That's how I think I did it the previous year, was just, I don't have a history of doing all these competitions.
When did you start? When did you start competing, like in the Open and all that stuff? When did you start?
Oh man, the Open, I mean, I wasn't competitive, but I was doing the Open, I think back in like 2011 is when I start, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
This
So
raw.
the Open started in 2011, right? That's
Yeah,
when the
so
Open
somebody
started.
had
Yeah.
drugged me into it. I like did a couple workouts. I blew my ankle playing basketball and then couldn't do it. But then I had that bug and I did it the next year. And from then on, then I wasn't really a CrossFitter at that time, but I was Metconning a lot, and the Open was a place to test that. I had a ton of holes, but that was where it started for me. And then my journey just kind of, escalated from there. But like I've never done MFC. I've never done Legends. This will be my first Legends. I did Fittest of the Coast last year. That was like, man, that was my first big competition outside of the games. I mean, I did the games in 2024, but I think as I'm evaluating where do I have room for growth, I think it's like getting some of those under my belt and just learning from that. And
Yeah.
because those create a stage you just can't replicate unless you're there, and getting, games level athletes around you, and 3, 2, 1, go. And you got to find a way to like bring it.
Yeah.
on that
And
kind of a platform. And so I don't have a lot of
it's
that
hard.
experience.
You can't replicate that in the gym. You can't do it here. You can I mean, you push hard every day, but you're right. 3, 2, 1, go, and someone's standing next to you, and it's like, okay, time to go.
Yeah.
Like, and that is important. I just think I've done it every year, and I think this is one year where I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to, and I want to just focus on getting like healthy and
Yeah.
training because I'm always jumping somewhere to go do some competition. And I think it's time to kind of like do what you did last year, you know?
Yeah. It feels like that would be the good approach for you. I mean, you've done a lot of those. So you've got the experience.
Right.
I need that experience. So this is the approach that I have to take. And yeah, I'll be really curious to see how this off season goes for you, man. Naturally, we're going to stay connected, and I'm
Yeah.
rooting for you. I want to see you do incredibly
Yeah.
well. And yeah,
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
here in no time, I'm sure.
That's another thing. Like we say the off season, but it comes up quick, right?
Yes, it comes quick every year.
It sneaks up on you. And all of a sudden when's it open? February, March. And it's
Yeah,
just, all of a sudden you're there, and then it's like, okay, you got to gear up for semifinals, and then it's games training. And yeah,
it's going to be a good off
we'll
season.
see. Yeah. What'd you think of Columbus? Do you think it's going to stay there?
Yeah, good question. I don't follow all of those details so closely. Jason and I have talked about this, and so I'm kind of regurgitating a little bit of some of his perspective. I did like Columbus. I thought the city
Yeah.
of Columbus was pretty darn cool, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I've never been out there. I don't know how much people go to Columbus just to be in Columbus or be in Ohio, but Columbus was cool. This whole like 20th anniversary of the CrossFit Games concept and like potentially reuniting them all in Carson or California somewhere. I think there's something to that. I can see where CrossFit might want to entertain that idea and see what that looks like. It's a big logistical circus to try to pull that off. So I don't know how much appetite they have for it.
Oh, they're talking about bringing the Masters there, you're saying?
I think there's talk of it. I don't know how serious that is, but the idea of like bringing teens and masters and individuals all back together for like the 20th.
Yeah.
The conversation is out there. I don't know how much legitimacy there is to it, but it's out there. And I don't know. That'd be cool. I never got to experience that because my first year at the games was 2024, where they had separated masters from individuals. And I've come to appreciate that format. I don't really.
Carson, I competed in 2014 in Carson, and
really?
it's a cool venue. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I went to
that would be
there. Not as competitor, just as an observer. The venue was awesome.
Yeah.
Tennis court, the tennis stadium, that was so cool.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. And I didn't even compete on the tennis court at all. There was another field, if you remember. And then there was, we ran around the parking lot with ropes connected to us. I was on a team, and it was a great experience. It was awesome. But, cause it was unexpected that we went to regionals, and it was unexpected that for us to make it, but we made it. And, it was great. But then they merged the Northeast, and I went to the regionals again on a team, and that's when it was Wisconsin. So yeah, I didn't know they were bringing it back to Carson. It's the first time I'm hearing that. I knew they talked about the West Coast.
I think.
Yeah, no, who knows
I'm hearing through the grapevine, like things are headed back to the West Coast. It's likely going to land in California.
Right.
Carson becomes kind of an obvious place where it could go. I don't track this stuff too closely, but it's an interesting concept. And yeah, I mean, I'm out here in Washington State. So if it comes West Coast, like that's handy for me. I'm down.
It's never coming to my coast ever.
Well, the individuals were up in.
They were up in Albany. Yeah, Albany, which is where the regionals was when I was competing in 2017. But I don't see it ever coming towards New York City. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, well, never say never, but yeah, you're probably onto something there.
Columbus. I did like Columbus more so than Birmingham. I would prefer Columbus than Birmingham for sure.
I mean, nothing against Birmingham, but if I had to pick one or the other, I think I would pick Columbus over Birmingham.
Yeah, for sure.
It seemed like there was some fun nightlife, but it was kind of small college like town,
Ohio State football is like life. Ohio State football is you get off the plane, and that's the first thing you see, right?
Yeah. And so I'm a Husky, Washington Husky, and they're playing Ohio State in like 2 weeks. So it was a little tough to be there, but I appreciate the culture for sure. College culture.
Did they play the weekend we were there?
No, they play in like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. No, I'm saying, did they have a game that weekend that we were there?
Yeah, they did. It was.
Did they? They did, right?
Yeah, it was Ohio State, Texas, like number 1, number 3. A big
That's right. Yep.
Game, which they were all up in arms about because they thought it should be a night game. It was quite controversy on the
Yeah.
schedule, but yeah, it turned out all right for Ohio State.
Did you go to Washington? Did you play there?
No, I played at a
Okay.
Division II school in Washington, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, born and raised in Washington. I wish I could have. Although Huskies were brutally bad in my college days. Like in that time, they had an 0-6 or an 0-12 season. Yeah,
I've had one of those. I've had one of those. In high school, I went 0-12. In my junior year of high school, I went 0-12. The worst.
the worst. That's tough. As a
And
competitor,
I've had a couple of seasons when I was in college in Massachusetts. I had a couple of seasons that were yeah, they were 2 or 3 wins, and yeah, it was tough.
did you play in college?
I did.
Where?
Yeah, Western New England.
What position?
I was a defensive end and an outside linebacker. Yeah, like a stand-up
I
end.
didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, no. It was Division 3. It was Division 3, but I knew I wasn't good enough to be like a Division 1, but I was good enough to play.
Yeah.
So I started from the minute I walked in, played all 4 years. I was a captain my senior year. It was great.
Oh, wow. Man, the kinds of experiences that creates are so core to who you are. And
Yeah,
this is now we're going to go on another tangent, but like, will your son play football? We've got friends that, they're like, absolutely no, won't play football because of fear of injury, which look, I totally acknowledge that. But
yeah,
man, I can't imagine my life not having football in it. The things that I took from that sport, the way that it molded me, the things that I've learned, and it shapes my life
yeah,
to this day. I wouldn't trade that for anything. And so when people ask me, will Jeg play? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I can see the way that it's shaping him. And I'm proud of that.
yeah. And it's kind of like it doesn't define who you are, but the values that it put in you to do what you do in your job or training or
That's right.
whatever you do. It's just it's a fact. And like the I do get the concussion protocol stuff, and like my son, I won't push him to play the sport. If he doesn't want to play it, he doesn't have to play it.
That's right.
But I'm also not going to say no, because I know what it did for me. It got me through college, right? Made me want to do well in college. Or you want to stay on the team, then you better go to class, and you better,
That's right.
And no, I wouldn't give it up for anything, because even, and everyone's like, well, you only played Division 3. It's like, hey, listen, that was good enough for me.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to be
I
I
just
was going to
launched
be
15
at
years ago.
Ohio State, or yeah. So I knew I knew I wasn't going to be a D1, phenom, but I was like, I just wanted to keep playing.
That's right.
So
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I'm glad that came up.
yeah.
Yeah, really cool, man.
Wait, where did you play D2?
It was Central Washington University. Yeah, it's now the
Okay.
only D2 program in Washington. We had some rivals that have canceled their program since. And yeah, Central's a good program. Like we did well. We did
Did
well.
you play everyone? Was it like more local schools you played, like in your division?
So we actually changed divisions my senior year, which was tough because we went into a very difficult division. We played in the Greater Northwest Athletic Conference most of my years. And so we played, a team called Western, mostly local. Yeah, mostly
Right.
local. But
Right.
then my senior year, we went into the North Central Conference and we played like the powerhouses of the country, the North Dakotas, North Dakota states of the world. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, and now they're Division 1, and they were tough, super tough. So it was a cool set of experiences because we got to travel a little bit more and see some sights. And in college, I came from the sticks in high school, and I wasn't getting
Yeah.
on a plane. I couldn't afford to travel, so this was like my chance to go see the country a little bit. Mostly
Yeah.
airports, but a few fun stadiums. Yeah, but that was cool. That was really cool and fun set of experiences. I wouldn't trade for anything. And then after I graduated, they went back to the Greater Northwest Athletic Conference and ended up,
Yeah. Of
smashing that
course.
conference.
Yeah.
So it was a unique senior season for me, but man, ton of
And
fun.
I see it now. My college team now has got they're excellent. They're great. Like everyone tells me, oh, they're such a great D3 football program, and I'm like, yeah, I guess they waited till I left. I don't know.
Yeah, we were like setting the foundation. We were solid. We were
Yeah.
really solid and kind of building a winning culture. And then
It is different now, the way, the sport's played and everything. Like there's even my son's age now, they all have the Guardian caps on,
yeah,
like the helmets. Yeah. It's weird to see, but I mean, it's for the parents, for the safety. Like they want their kids, being safe and everything. So yeah.
Paul, this has been good, man. I'm really
Yeah.
grateful you made time and good to catch up. I'm excited for your off season. I'm looking forward to just stay connected and Yeah, support
Yeah,
each
man,
other as we go.
for sure. I'm gonna be talking on a daily basis, weekly basis, for sure.
Counting on it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
bro.
you.
Team, thanks for checking out the Boulder Athlete Podcast. We are so grateful that you did. Wherever you're watching or listening, please like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more stories from this great community.